computer. Hello guys, this is Kapil, your moderator from INFP group. I hope you are all doing well, and so I hope you all know this program by now at least. This is where 16 INFPs would be chosen among you guys who are gonna act as a guide to us to overcome the common challenges that every INFP face eventually. So here we are today with our this week's speaker, and McFall. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's Anne, or I also answer to Annie. Yep.
So hi Anne. Hi Annie.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm a little nervous, but it's okay. Doing good. Everybody, please be nice in the comments. That's my only request.
Yeah, first of all, I like to congratulate you for like being a voice to guide us to our better, right? Also I'd
Thank you
like
for
to
asking.
I'd like to thank you for making time for us. It's like it's not a paid thing, right?
Yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure.
So yeah, can you tell me about like a little about yourself? So like how you like where are you from, what you do, and like how you discover you're an INFP?
So I'm from Michigan in the United States. I live over on Lake Michigan, and I grew up here. And I've taught third and fourth grades for a while. I had a couple of daughters, and now they're like right around 20. And I'm married. I love one-on-one conversations, and then also, or like speaking to a group. So it's got to be one or the other. Otherwise, I get nervous in groups. I think that's probably typical for an INFP. I don't know what else to I have a lot more to tell you, but yeah, that's basically my story. I have a dog.
Me too. Yes. So yeah, like when did you discover that you're an INFP, right? Like how long it has been?
So I probably discovered it sometime in my 30s or late 20s. Somebody turned me on to the MBTI, and then you look back at your childhood, and you think, oh, I totally see that I've always been this type. And so after I took the test, and I took it several times, and it was a little confusing because I'm a little bit of an XNFP, an ambivert, but I do test on the side of INFP. So when I was a kid, I was always being called a dreamer, and the teachers would always say to my mom, like, she's a dreamer. She's always looking out the window. If we can get her to focus and like take pride in her work, then it's all good. So I think, a lot of us will relate to that whole thing. We lived on the lake, and so I was always taking these long beach walks by myself. I was writing poetry. And so looking back at my childhood, like all of that, very INFP, I think. I was always into deep conversations. And so even if we went to, like, let's say a football game, and a lot of my friends would like go off and they'd actually watch the game, or they would be laughing with a big group of people, or flirting with all the boys. I've always been more interested in like the one-on-one conversations and the deep, meaningful relationships. And sometimes there would be some like eye rolls, and the girls would be like, oh, they're just, Anne and Jess are going to go off and have their deep conversation. And we were like, well, I mean, we also love to laugh with friends, but it's it always comes back to that. That's kind of who we are.
Mm.
So anytime I would hear words like empathy or wanderlust, I knew they applied to me. I I loved choir and drama and piano because hated learning piano. That's very kind of more of a maybe a thinking function, but I, once I knew how to do something, I would do it with passion, and I feel like those were outlets for that. And with drama, then you can have a mask on, great thing for somebody who's a little bit introverted, and then you can just take on all these characters, and there are these stories that have to do with life. And I think we are always observing human behavior, right, as an INFP. And so when you get to be a character, or when you're reading a book, you think, I understand what makes that person tick. I understand, and I want to empathize with that person, or I want to be able to express what it is to be that person. So a lot of that going on when I was a kid. I was a little shocked to see that. I don't know if you've seen this, but like there are some posters out there, they're meant to be humorous, about INFP, or I mean about all the MBTI types. And I was a little bit surprised to see that I was like in the corner at the bottom as this little hippie guy who was virtually unemployable. Which, but then it's kind of true, right? Like, I'm so excited that I found teaching, and I was teaching like 9-year-olds, perfect for me. And I could use all my personal skills, and I could never get up in front of a group of adults and try to tell them what to do or try to be myself or whatever. But with these kids, somehow I could entertain them, and I could be their person who's actually listening and very engaged and very like, I will be that teacher who listens to you, and tries to understand what is it like for you to be in my class, learning and doing life. So yeah, I probably went on a little bit too long about that one.
No, that's
What's
great
next?
actually. So like you like brought out the essence of INFP. I got so pumped up like when you said that like um yeah, you said something about a skit, right? Um costume,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, being in dramas, plays, yeah.
Being in dramas, like I always wanted to do that. But not like, yeah, like maybe later in life I'll try doing it, cosplay,
Yes.
going in dramas. And like this also this thing, right? You just go into that character and start improvising. Improvising,
Oh,
impro, yeah.
improv. I don't think I can do improv, but maybe you can. You seem very like uninhibited, and definitely you should go out for like civic theater, because yeah, I mean, it's such a good, I think it's a natural kind of thing for us to do.
Yeah, like
So
we are so filled with our emotions, like we have to get it out sometime, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing on my bucket list, right?
that's
Okay,
cool.
so moving on, like what's the greatest and most admirable thing about being an INFP?
Yep. Well, for this one, I had so many things that I am going to like actually read you some of them. I and you know what? I think that we should all be really proud of being our type. I mean, everybody should be proud of their type. But I think that sometimes we get a little bit down about it because other people might not be um as likely to connect, or as empathetic, or so
So sensitive.
anyway, here's some reasons that I think we should be like super excited. I think that often we are the heart and soul of the personality types. We're encouraging and childlike. We're deep, unique, reflective. We're great listeners. And I think that we're entertaining in our own weird way. I mean, maybe you guys aren't weird, but I mean, I know that's true for me.
Everyone is
We're
weird.
we're and I think that we're insightful, probably because, you know, we're always observing human behavior and stuff. Genuine, we're open-minded, and we are quirky. Those are all great things. And we're, you know, we're often the writers and the actors, and we are, I think that we can avoid following social norms just to appease society because we reflect deeply. And I don't know if this is an INFP thing, but I feel like I have the ability to be bold and just say no to certain, you know, even if that means that for a while I'm going to be a bit lonely because I figure out that, you know, this particular social group or this job or something isn't quite right for me, or I've found out more about myself and maybe my view of things and it doesn't completely match up anymore. I will go off on my own. I know we get lonely, and that's a tough one, and we're sensitive, but I think it's good. We reflect deeply, and we're not going to just go along with whatever society is doing.
Yeah, we are
So
the
we can be like,
black sheep, right? We are the black sheep of the herd.
yes, we totally are. And so that's where I feel bad for people who don't have maybe a family or friends, but especially like family that can accept them as they change and become who they are, and maybe their views are slightly different from the family. I just like hit the jackpot with that. And my dad, who is about to turn 88, is extremely loving and accepting. And even though, you know, he was born in 1935, 6, he's open-minded and loving. And I know that we don't all have that, but but still, I think that we have to go out and be ourselves and believe what we believe in any case. So, okay, more stuff I love about us. We can sit with heartache and grief, and then we can get back out there and do life again and love again. I think we're kind of magical. But so here's the one thing. I feel like we are very sensitive, and if we get disillusioned, and I see this sometimes in the groups, we can go too far down into a dark place and sort of lose the childlike joy and the compassion that we need for ourselves and that we need to give to the world, because it hurt. We feel everything deeply, but we need to be able to climb out of that. We need to be able to let people in the world feel seen and offer them that joy and understanding, and usually innocence too, I think. So yeah, I think that's all I have on that one.
Yeah, we always do kind of feel magical, right? Like I'll share my personal experience. Every day, like going to college, like I have to like walk for like a kilometer and all. So there, like while walking, I like sometimes, like always, not sometimes, always, most of the times, I feel like if I could just jump a little, I could walk on air and like just go flying to my school. I even tried that 2 or 3 times.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's exactly it. And we're daydreaming and we're thinking up scenarios in our minds, and we're in conversations. And we're the most likely type to feel as if we're in a movie. And so I will be maybe doing dishes or something, mundane like that. But I'll have this situation where I'm like having a little conversation with nobody. And that's the stuff We do.
That's the stuff we do exactly. I'm sure everybody agrees with that. So yeah, that was about the like admirable part, right? So yeah, now the like the part that you dislike, like something that you
Yeah.
dislike about being an INFP, and how do you show it off and be grateful for being you again?
Yeah. Well, I I do need support. Like I it's really, I feel like almost everything about me is sort of ambivalent. Like, I mean, I feel ambivalent about most things. I can kind of see these different sides of an issue, and then I'm like, mm. And then as far as being like independent versus dependent, I'm right in the middle there too. Like for example, during the years when I was teaching, I thought, hey, I'm I can do life by myself. I am successful. I can do this. I got it going on. And then um, the truth is, though, I don't want to go home to an empty house. I don't want to support myself on my own, try to do life on my own, year after year. And um, so my husband, not only is he great company, but he he kind of stands between me and the horror of like all the mundanity of life. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Um, all the drudgery, all the mean comments, like if somebody's rude to me, um, he, I can go home and I know that I'm going to be supported and loved, and I'm going to be, I won't be alone with that. And so I guess it's hard to feel like, I think that I'm his entertainment and I bring that spark to his life, but he doesn't need me. I mean, he can just do all the businessy stuff. When I hear him on calls and he's talking about quality and that this needs to happen by this time or whatever, I'm just like, oh my word, I'm so glad that's not me. But he can just like trudge through it, right? So I don't feel that way. And I think that the older I get, I am noticing more and more that I get stuck and well, let me just say, so I have depression, both clinical and situational. I have anxiety. I don't know if I have ADHD or if I'm just an INFP and I'm like floaty a lot of the time. So, and then obviously I can become serious. It's just like the stuff that I'm really good at, like writing, for example. I will probably never make any money doing these things. And I don't feel like I can be the person who like does the taxes and does all of the shopping and does the blah, 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 and feels good after
No,
all that,
absolutely not.
No, like I would need a commune, I think. I need to
Yeah.
live in a co-op.
Like we need to work on something that we like about. Yeah, right. So like I agree most of the like things you said.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm glad. I think that another thing, this is kind of tight. I often don't feel like I come off as smart as I am verbally. And
Hmm.
I do know this is like something that I've seen in comments and read about INFP. We are much better on paper and than we are verbally. And I remember taking a class in counseling where we broke up into small groups. And somebody in the group said, I thought you were going to be really ditzy when I met you at first in the classroom, but you're not. And I think that's true. I mean, I'm exuberant. I and I just don't express myself as well verbally. So I don't know. I'm not sure everybody would relate to that, but that's one thing. But I definitely think that I still offer vital things to the world. I think we as a group, we, like I said, I feel like we're the heart and soul. I, I don't mean to diss any other group, but I'm saying that that's a strength of ours. And we're other. We're kind of, how people say other, but I think that's a wonderful thing too. And we couldn't be luckier. So some people, I think a lot of people can get too polished to the point of like losing their character, losing their quirks and playfulness.
Exactly.
And we're right. And we're more likely to hold on to those things. I'll tell you what, I wish with my personality type, I wish I could live somewhere like Italy where they have a siesta. People will come together in the middle of their workday and be like, hey, I want to talk to you. We're gonna let's be friends. And then, and then later at night, it seems like people, they eat late. There's people hanging out in the streets and just talking and sharing and everything. And I feel like we really need that. But instead, at least in the US, it's kind of like work, and then go home and get the kids to soccer and then get some dinner on the table, or maybe it's going to be takeout, and then you're busy, and then all of that goes into our identity and our feeling worthy and what we can tell other people that we're doing. People are always like, what are you doing? And Heath Ledger, I remember said, there's some quote about, he said, like, people always ask you if, people ask you what you do. They don't ask you if you're happy,
Exactly.
which is like,
Everyone says that.
crying, especially because it's Heath Ledger, right? I mean, like, we should have asked him if he was happy. But
Like if you
but I
met any
think
old
that,
friend or like old colleague or even any relatives, they ask you exactly same thing. What you do now?
yeah,
What you're doing right now? How much money are you
yes,
making? Do you got any
exactly.
family? How many kids you got?
Yes, right. Did you hit all the benchmarks? Are you married? Do you have kids and stuff? And I think I'm so relieved that our society is growing beyond that. Some people, it's more recognized, like not everybody's going to want to have kids. Not everybody's going to want to get married. Not everybody's going to be heterosexual. And we don't need to achieve all these things. And I think INFPs are more likely to live in,
Our own way.
like a place that's not maybe perfect, or they didn't design it perfectly, or
Something that
but
sits into a system, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
we tend to go outside the box.
Yes.
We won't fit in the box.
Yeah, and the things that we find important may not be status and whatever. Good. I think that's it.
So yeah. I was gonna add something to that. This was about the like things you don't like about INFP, right? So yeah, I was gonna say like the thing I hate the most about being an INFP is being like desperately needy. Some like the times when you are lonely, right? Like once you're out of a relationship or like you're single prayed. You get
Yeah.
desperately lonely.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's very true. And even though like I have some amazing friends, they're not all local, but they're there for me still. And I have maybe 3 good friends that are local. And I have a good husband, but I'll say like, so it gets lonely. And plus when you're married for 31 years or whatever,
Huh.
it's great. You have all this history and this understanding, and they know all the same memories, and so many advantages, and that's a comfort. But I mean, let's just be honest, it can get lonely. And then you're sort of stuck, you know? And so, when you're a kid, you have all these options open to you. And I think especially for our type, we want adventure and we want opportunities and hope.
We want to go
And when we,
beyond.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, I think those things can be, like I visited a friend of mine. I met her on a mosaic, a group, Facebook group for people who do mosaic. I went and visited her and her family for a couple of weeks in France. And that was epic. And that was just everything was different. And I just felt like I was soaking in all of these cultural things and the friendship and the new things to learn and our growing friendship and all these things. And but that's not daily life. And so I don't know, I feel, at least, and this may resonate with people, just that it can get like we need to be sure we're mixing it up, or we're just going to feel yucky because we're stuck.
So yeah, you said you are in 31 years of relationship, right? I still can't believe it. You don't look that old. Exact.
Thank
Like
you.
I must say this. You for when I first saw you, I thought you were on 35 or like around that age.
Yeah. I am 51.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and I got married kind of early. So I will be telling all of my friends that you said that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did get married pretty young though.
But
So,
still, you don't look your age.
it's like I said, it's it's a plus minus. It's good, but it's something you work at, right? So anyway.
Anyways, yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
How do you deal with your distress or when you're too stressed out, in your day-to-day?
Yeah. Well, I have in case you guys don't know about loop earplugs. I got the pink ones. They come in all different kinds of colors, and they're they look a little bit more like you might be wearing jewelry. So that's nice because I can walk around the grocery store, or if I'm out with friends I've never really put them in at a restaurant or something like that, but like a concert, that's a good trick, just to put them in. Or sometimes my husband will be on a conference call. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you right now, I always have on my noise canceling headphones or the loop earplugs. I can have and this didn't happen to me till the pandemic, but you know how we all crashed, right? So I was in our grocery store and there were quite a few people. I wasn't doing very well emotionally, so I had on my headphones, and I had on I also had on a mask, so I was looking a little bit, and I noticed that there were all these people wandering around who didn't care about me. And I was trying to get this done, and it was the lighting, was really bright. It was very crowded that day. And it was a lot. And then some people were glancing at me because I was wearing all this stuff. And so what I did, I tried the square breathing. I tried to just get stuff quickly and go out to my car. I have lists and reminders because I'm a little, like I said, kind of floaty. And I know that I have somebody to contact. And I remind myself, you know what, you're going to be out of here in a couple of minutes. You're going to get your stuff. You can be out in your quiet car. And I went home and this is deep in the pandemic where my anxiety and
What?
depression were pretty bad. And so I went upstairs and I was just I cried, I was crying actually walking out to my car. And then I just like laid in a dark room, in a quiet dark room. And then in 5-10 minutes, I was fine. But we can't always do that. So I've only been that stressed one other time one time when I couldn't. I was in a teaching placement. So like I was in college. So I was supposed to be teaching these kids, and I had broken up with the guy that I married. And I broke up with him. I think we were just dating at that time. We weren't engaged, but it was really upsetting. And I couldn't sort of overcome how upsetting that was. And usually I feel like I can just get past it, like just put it aside, do whatever I have to do. But it was really, really tough. So I set up the kids up with something to do, and I left for 10 minutes and I had to get it together. And I don't know if that has anything to do with INFP, but I think probably a lot of INFP and INFJ personalities are also highly sensitive people, which is a great Facebook group if you want to check it out if you think you're highly sensitive. And I just find that the more things I do to stay mentally healthy, that's a rare occasion, thankfully, for me to have that. But it can be, we can be overwhelmed. So somebody to contact, some way to like block out. Sometimes I'll just walk around with sunglasses, or I'll be downtown. We have kind of this bougie part of our town, and I'm sort of in the middle. I kind of fit in there, but not really exactly. And so if I'm there, I mean, there are days when I'll just walk around with my sunglasses on, and it makes me feel less perceived. So yeah, those are my coping mechanisms.
Yeah, COVID hit us all pretty hard. Like first, like initial 6 months, we enjoyed pretty much. Like as an introvert, we enjoyed it, but later it became difficult, and anxiety kicked in, and depression and all. I think it
Yeah.
was pretty common.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it was really fun at first. We would make up little holidays and celebrate them. We'd be like, we're gonna
Like
celebrate
everyone
yoga
was
now as a
home.
family. Yeah, it was a fun time.
And after
until it
COVID,
wasn't.
after COVID, like this mental health concepts were introduced. We didn't even know like even mental health was that important, and now we are like so much invested in this. But it like
Yes.
it really feels good to get recovered after that such phase.
Yeah. I know. It's just the interactions. Like I didn't realize how much we need interaction. Even just like with somebody that is working in a store who checks you out. I had no idea how much that matters to our mental health. Just interacting with that stranger until it was taken away from us. So
plus interacting with yourself. Like when you need to get it together.
Yep.
Yeah, so moving on. A lot of people struggle because they always create this worst case scenarios in their head, like negative mind, negative thinking, bad scenarios, like sadistic persons, and automatically like think that this one later think if goes wrong, everything will get ruined all, and in worst case my life it's gonna get over. Mostly in teenagers, I think this problem is there. So what do you think of this?
Yeah. I at first I thought, I don't think I do that. I don't think I have that. And then I thought, wait a minute. I think that about this interview. Like, let's say that let's say that people are really mean to me in the comments or something, and or somebody posts it like somewhere, and then other people are mean to me. Like, I mean, yes, I can definitely relate. And I'm like, all right, this is not going to be the end of the world. I mean, we've all gotten through rejections and failures and things, and we have gotten to this point and we're okay. So
Like, compared
but
to
yeah,
that,
no,
this is nothing, right?
yes, I have found though that my life has been kind of driven by fear when I look back. Now this could just be me, I don't know if it's specific to our type, but I wonder if people relate to this. So when I was a teenager, I kind of like, there were a couple of guys that I really, really, really liked. And I just ran away from them. You know, like I knew that they wanted to go out with me. So I just ran because it was so scary.
Oh.
It was because I liked them too much. And, you know, and that's being a kid and everything. But that was it. Well, I guess I have like a flight or freeze response. And so, but again, it's kind of a that whole worst case scenario thing where you're like, something could go wrong, or this could be just too overwhelming for me, and I need to just get away, which of course was the worst thing I could have done. But yeah, I think that I cope with some of those things by journaling, talking to my family, talking to my best friend, and then, you know, sort of unraveling all of that. And those are also some of the ways that I cope with stress, as we were talking about earlier. Just, I guess the more I think about it and pull it apart, I realize this isn't everything. This isn't going to be
The end of the world.
the end of the world, the end of, yes, my happy life. Yep.
Yeah, talking helps. Talking, sharing things helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And hearing somebody else tell you, you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? And, you know, that kind of thing.
So yeah, like as you said, you are 51, right? So I'm sure you have faced some like really worst challenges. Like have you highlighted any like challenges, biggest challenge that you faced in life, and like what were they?
Oh yeah, I've had challenges. Okay. So as a good INFP, I hate daily drudgery kind of tasks. I mean, like dusting, why would I do that? Why?
We can just hire a maid to do that.
Yeah, so it's a thing where, you know, sometimes when I get around to a job, it's a lot bigger than it should be because I just don't want to. And I mean, that sounds like a child. But if you give me a job like writing another scene for my short story, I'll be like, yeah, I'm on it. I'm gonna do that, you know, or if like tutoring a kid or holding somebody's baby or whatever it is that matters, then I don't feel that way. But as far as, you know, repetitive tasks and household, you know, boringness and stuff that can be done later or can be done in the pinch. And of course, I'm a deadline person. So like, I think I got dressed 3 minutes before I got on my sweatpants just before this meeting started. Very much like a deadline person. And I think it's because I get bored. And also, I don't know what else would be actually INFP, like but if I had to study for a test in college, I kind of had to have all my little comfort things ready, and I had to have special pens. And then my roommate was studying at the same time, so that was helpful. And then I knew we were going to go get ice cream after, or things like that. All of those things. Whereas like the rest of my family, I mean, they just kind of all went to the U of M and kind of went, I just studied the whole time and did awesome, and I'm like, well, I did pretty good too. But it's not I'm not able to be as consistent as other people. I will get stuck. I will get bored. I will say, I just need to like go run around and like be I don't know, like go swimming or something that feels real and feels like the essence of life. And I want that all the time.
Same here. So yeah, about the consistency part, I agree with it. So till date, like my parents have brought me like 10 to like a dozen of sports, like for every summer break. And that like lasted till that break only, like skating, badminton, swimming, everything.
Yes.
We are not consistent.
Yeah.
Like
That's exactly it. Like we need to switch it up, and we need that joy and that like feeling connected with life. And at times, like I read all the time, but do I read nonfiction? Not as much as I should, because I want the stories, and I want to know what's happening in somebody else's head and in somebody else's, behaviors and stuff. Another thing that can be a challenge, I find, is that if I'm around harsh personalities, people who are being really, really harsh or extra crude, I guess. I mean, I can take some of that's fine, but then I can get uneasy. And I can get pretty serious. And so then I try to make sure that I'm smiling when I meet people so they don't find me aloof. That I just convey kindness with my eyes, that kind of thing. Wear things that show that I'm approachable, something that because when I was younger, I was told that I seemed aloof, or somebody in college said, I just thought, why would she like me? Why would she want to be friends with me? And I was like, what? You're fabulous. Like, I think I was just in my own bubble, and I was being serious, and, like I was maybe stressed about, college things or something. But that was a really good wake-up call, that maybe my face doesn't always reflect how I could be thinking. How it is, somebody passes you, you think that, like, well, I guess they wouldn't like me, and then you have no idea what's going on in their head. They could be thinking, oh, that person seems cool, I love her shoes or whatever, and she looks like she'd be fun to talk to. And it just doesn't always come across. So I'm much more aware of that now. So
like even I went to that phase, but like nowadays I am in my senior years, so I'm like it doesn't matter. Like think whatever you want, I'll do whatever I want.
yes, right. And that confidence, and that's helpful. I think it's hard if you're having a hard day, or you're feeling very
uneasy,
isolated, and then
totally.
and you walk around, there's strangers or whatever, and none of them are like, my favorite day of this is my favorite thing to do on Christmas Eve, or wherever you are, whatever religion. But Christmas Eve, I walk down the street and everybody is saying Merry Christmas, and everybody looks happy, right? And I love that. I'm like, why can't we be that way every day?
We should shift to North Pole, I guess. So yeah, that was about challenges, right? Mm, and as far as the overcoming them is concerned, I guess as we like get older in life, or we get more wise, and we learn from
Yeah,
experiences, and that's how we get like overcome that, right?
yeah, yeah. And as an INFP, sometimes I've had to just plain tell myself, you have to do this right now. And and it's it's bad, but you got to do that. And then I'll tell myself this is probably not going to take more than an hour. And then I feel like, okay, that's okay. In an hour I can do what I want to do. Or I'm talking to somebody who seems harsh, and that's hard for me. But maybe that person, that's how they relate to the world. It doesn't have anything to do with, they're not judging me like I think they are, or they're not being unfriendly to me personally, but they're more of a managerial type. We need those people too. So I think that some of those things are easier to think as you get older, and
Mm.
to just always remind yourself when you meet new people, like, I wonder what type they are. Not that I want to type them and judge them, but that I want to remind myself we need them too. And I may not be very comfortable talking to someone who seems maybe like a strict manager, but I'm sure glad they're in the world because we need them. And they have a softer side too. So just, yeah, those are some of the ways that I've coped.
Mm. We find it very helpful. I'm sure we'll find it very helpful. Yeah, we had a similar experiences, similar ways to go. For me, mm, let it be some other time. Mm, so moving on, yeah. Are you currently in your best version of yourself, or do you see you can uh, get further, like you can go further?
Yeah. I think I was in my sweet spot when I was 28. I was, I was teaching every day. Well, not every day. Sometimes I would be like, ugh. But usually I would get up and I'd be like, yeah, this is gonna be a good day. Or at least, hey, you know what? Life is good and I'm gonna be my best self. Um, recently somebody said something about not saying best self. I know that that's not helpful. Anyways, but I guess I am a little stuck right now. Both of our kids moved out in August.
Mm.
And one of them got her own apartment, one of them is moved on campus. And I mean, really, my girls are everything to me. And so I thought I would be more stuck than I actually am, because I started tutoring at a refugee education center. Love that. And it kind of like anytime I do something like that, it makes me feel like
It makes you
more,
like alive,
I'm
like
a
something
lot, yes,
alive.
alive and engaging with the world, and not escaping too much to, because I can do that, like we're like writing and reading books or TV, or just hiding in my bed. I mean, depending on how dysfunctional we're talking about. So, but like, yeah, doing things like that. Love the tutoring. I just I'm helping with a Pride Festival, first one that we've had in our quite conservative town. And I'm just having fun meeting these people, interacting, trying to use my strengths in some way. And so I think I'm pretty close to being my best self, but I tend to be a nocturnal. And so like like at my worst, I will just like stay up all night because I can sort of like my writing switch turns on at 11 at night, 11 p.m. And then I feel like I'm more creative. And then I can text with some friends and especially people who are in different time zones. And there are times when I need to be more healthy, get up earlier, actually be productive. It's not a word I like. So, you know, I'm working on it. And hang on, because are you like, I don't know if this is one of my questions that we talked about. So in the US, like there's this big emphasis on status and money. I think we've talked about that. But even like physical work over the arts, for example, or looking like a competent person. And I, you know, as an INFP, we're not going to always look like a competent person. We're just too busy being childlike and having and like being dreamy. So it can be a hit on your ego, but I think that I'm good with having a fairly simple life. And I do like overall feel like I'm pretty much my best self, living a good, you know, like a life that I want to live.
Like living every moment of it, every moment of life, not just for the
Yeah.
sake of living.
Yeah. Right. Like really embracing it and really getting to know people.
So yeah, like how do you describe INFP in like just 3 words?
I'm sorry, how do I describe what?
Like how do you describe being an INFP in just 3 words?
Oh, so I chose, there were so many that I wanted to choose. Like, I think we're very authentic,
To yourself.
caring, understanding about others, reflective. Also, if I had to like narrow it down to 3 words, I would say connection, meaning, and whimsy.
A connection, meaning, and
Connection, meaning, and whimsy, like being whimsical.
whimsical.
Yep. And but I don't know if that totally captures everything, because I really think caring about and understanding others and being a good listener and being reflective, I mean, those are at the core of who we are. We will make others feel seen, and we'll make eye contact, and we are very present, I think, with people who need us. And unfortunately, I think sometimes people will, they'll come around when they need a therapist or they need a boost, and then they'll disappear again. Right? I think we've all been through that several times. But the thing is, like, I know that now, and I'm okay with that, because that's when they need me. And I mean, there's a limit if I think that I'm being really, being used or whatever, but I think that that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So I
Like,
have my friends who are there for me no matter what.
hmm.
And then I'm happy to be there for other people when they need it. And then they can go off to the bar or they can go off to whatever their life is. And that's okay.
Yeah, like we help without expectations, right? We don't want anything return,
Yes.
just giving and all.
Yeah. That's exactly, yes. Oh, I forgot to answer something about so part of the I feel like I've used different parts of being INFP to build what I think is a beautiful life. And like I evolved from somewhat shy and insecure kid to someone who can go up to a stranger and listen to them. For a while, I had it was this web page. It was like a piggyback on Humans of New York. So mine was Humans of the Lakeshore. I just did it for a while, but it's definitely I've like worked on my extroverted side and been able to have fun with people and do things like play a game show host in a skit, or something like that. That I think that as an INFP, often we need to kind of draw ourselves out and work on that extroverted side. And then, I think now I'm more at peace with who I am and what I do well and what my limitations are too. So I think that's good. And then also, in terms of like wanderlust and everything, I don't know. Do you have like the desire to live several different lives? Like
Ah,
all these different lives. And like I want to live in, like in this country and I want to do this and I want it to be like that. And then in my other life, I want to have a co-op and I just want to have a bunch of friends that I hang around with. And and then it's just so many things that we want to do. But instead of being frustrated, I feel like what I do is I just let it fuel my writing. And I meet new people at the coffee shop when I can and things like that give me a small taste of, getting or sort of grabbing onto more of life. So yeah, because I think that we really want to embrace all the people and all the things.
yeah, true. Like, yeah, that's true. I totally agree with you. So yeah, that's it for the questions, I think, I guess. And yeah, also like we'd like to thank you again, and we are grateful for your valuable experiences and insights. Thank you, Annie and
Thank you for choosing me. It was great talking to you. Thank you.
now there's this note for INFPs. Okay, so guys, if you got any questions and all, like you can comment it down there, and like we will try to answer it. And also, if you're interested in to like come here on stage and like be a next speaker, please do contact us. And yeah, I think yeah, that's all of it. uh, yeah, thank you, Annie. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.